Sorry, the wind's a little heavy. With that, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host for today, Staff Sergeant Darren Watts, and it is my pleasure to be your narrator for today's ceremony. On behalf of Major Gerard Fernandez, the presiding official, welcome to the formal retirement of Master Sergeant Casey Dawley, celebrating an outstanding career of dedicated service to the United States Air Force. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Master Sergeant Casey Dawley's family and special distinguished guests. Please hold your applause until all names are read. Master Sergeant Dawley's wife, Sonia Dawley, and their son, Avery Dawley, his mother, Donna Kovacs, his sister, Nikki Sarsfield, his brother-in-law, Rich Sarsfield, his niece, Rosalie Sarsfield, and his special guest speaker, Staff Sergeant William Martin, and his wife, Amy Martin. I think we have a few special guests in the audience. With that, our new 709th Support Group Superintendent, Chief Medor, and next to him, our acting First Sergeant, 709th Support Group, Master Sergeant, I can't see his name tag, oh man, Master Sergeant Nolan. Round of applause, people. We would also like to extend a special welcome to all others who have taken their time to attend today's ceremony. All of you, give yourself a round of applause. Master Sergeant Dawley and his family would like to thank you for attending today's ceremony. This is a memorable day in their lives, and they are pleased to choose to share this with you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the recognition of the official party and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Airman First Class Blair and the invocation by Staff Sergeant Mraz.
Let us rise each morning and strive each day to do only that which brings happiness and joy to others. And let us avoid doing things that cause others hurt and pain. Let us use our minds and our reason to encourage our friends and family. And let us always respect the dignity and worth of each other. And let us, above all, love one another, not to obtain rewards for ourselves now, but rather to always bring each other contentment and peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank A1C Blair, and Staff Sergeant Mraz. It is now my pleasure to introduce the guest speaker for today's ceremony, Staff Sergeant William Martin. Sir, the floor is yours.
Can everyone hear me? Good? All right. So I'm kind of green at this, so I'm going to stick to the sheet because I got a lot of stuff I want to say. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sergeant Dawley, first and foremost, for the unbelievably humbling opportunity to be here today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Sergeant Martin. I'm currently serving on a special duty tour over at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base as a ceremonial guardsman, working over at the Honor Guard. I've been there for about 3 years, and I met Sergeant Dawley at Wright-Pat. We served in 2012 up through 2013 together at the Air Force Institute of Technology. I was blown away when Sergeant Dawley first asked me to come speak today because I was like, I'm a staff sergeant. I've only really worked for him for about 15 months of his 20-year career. And so I started thinking, first of all, I accept instantly. I'm like, yes, I'm going to be there. We're going to do this. And he hit me as soon as we started talking with his first and only requirement for today, and it was, don't be boring. So here we are in an official ceremony, trying not to be boring. I was like, that's simple, okay. So here I am trying not to be boring. As I contemplated kind of what I would say up here, I started thinking about our 15 months together, him as my supervisor, me as his crew, and how short of a time that is in a 20-year career. And I was like, I'm not going to get too military with the speech. I'm not going to do anything too official. And then one of those standard issue military words came to me, and that's what I based my speech around, and kind of what was the foundation of our relationship. It's a word that you get at basic military training, at the academy, at officer training school, and that's impact. We say that a lot in the military, and impact is highlighted. The impact you can have on people, on a mission, on a program, and we go back and forth with this word a lot, and that was the foundation of mine and Sergeant Dawley's relationship, was impact. And impact is created each and every day that you work with someone, that you share a meal with someone, that you sit down with them or their family, and it started day one for us. Day one, I showed up on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base with no stripes on my sleeve. My supervisor was flying out the next day to NCOA. He was going to be gone for a couple months. That Sunday night, before his flight, he was at my dorm. Had me water in the fridge, Hot Pockets, thank you, and started that relationship. Square one, he was dedicated to me. And so as I started thinking about the impact he's had on me, a few things came to mind that I wanted to share with you all today. The first and probably the biggest way Sergeant Dawley has impacted me was with his attitude day in and day out. And for those of you who have worked with him for any extent of time, you know it's hard to catch him on a bad day, right? It's hard to come in and not get that quirky, upbeat, positive attitude. And that's what I got each and every day working next to Sergeant Dawley. And that was one of the highlights as I came through. I saw that in my NCO, my supervisor, my leadership, and I expected it from everyone else who wore those stripes. And as I promoted into my stripes, I definitely expected it out of myself. So attitude to this day is number one on my list of what you have to bring to the table as an NCO, as an airman, as an officer, as a leader. You have to have a good attitude. I get paid too much, treated too good by the Air Force to come in and have bad days. There's people going through stuff that I don't know, and I don't get the opportunity to tell them that my problems are worse than theirs, or I want to vent to them first because I don't know what they're going through. So coming in and having a good attitude was something that Sergeant Dawley displayed every day. We always talk about leading by example, but he did it every day. He came in with a good attitude, ready to rise and conquer any challenge that we had that day, that week, that month. And so in our 15 months, I saw very few bad days from Sergeant Dawley. And it was one of the things that impacted me the most, and still to this day, I don't like showing up to work and saying I'm tired. I just got 10, 12, 15 hours off. I'm going to come back rested and ready to help those around me and the mission around me. The next thing were his expectations and standards. Like I said, don't be boring. Very clear, right? So, as I get there, I first off never had a job. I came straight out of high school, went to the military. I was 18 years old and 6 weeks when I joined and went to basic military training. So I was very unaware of how all this worked. I wasn't real clean cut and everything was kind of blurry when I showed up to my first duty station. All I've known is basic military training, tech school, everyone's doing everything for you, it's all laid out. But that continued with Sergeant Dawley, which I am extremely thankful for. Good expectations, clear communication of standards are something that you need from the troops and those around you so that they're never surprised, they're never shocked. First of all, you're coming in with the same great attitude every day and you're being clear of what they needed from you. So Sergeant Dawley did something that a lot of people don't. A lot of people start with their expectations and standards. What Sergeant Dawley did was sit me down and say, hey, what are your goals? And I'm going to build your expectations and your standards based on your goals. So I set the bar high. I was like, I want to make BTC. I don't even know what it is. I just know that it's an acronym that everybody likes. So I want to make BTC. And so Sergeant Dawley's like, it's a heavy task. Here's what you got to do. And it was a how-to, point by point. Here's what we got to do each day, each week, each month. Very clear with me. And long after Sergeant Dawley had left, I promoted to 1 stripe, promoted to 2 stripe, and I made senior airman below the zone because of his guidance in that very first feedback session that we had, where he didn't only lay out his standards and his expectations for me, but he made me give a goal, and he created the path to that as an NCO. And that is something that's very special about him, about NCOs in the Air Force, that we can get up and we can do those things for our troops, give them a clear path to achieve their goals through clear expectations and standards. And then lastly, his persistence was probably the most impactful thing for me personally, just because when I came in, I was coming in as a 4-year enlistee. I show up with 3.5 more years on my contract and I'm ready to get out. There's no one telling me anything else about it. Sergeant Dawley wasn't having it. As soon as he saw a little bit of potential in me, sorry if I've ever let you down on the way, but as soon as he saw a little bit in me, he was determined to pull every last percentage of that out. And he did. And it came through persistence. We only knew each other for 15 months. 15 months. I've never had a job. I've only been in the Air Force 6 months, 2 years by the time he left. And today I am a career airman because of Sergeant Dawley. And that's a big impact. That's something that will stay with me my whole life. I make no money through anything other than the Air Force. So everything that I have is a credit to the Air Force. And the reason that I'm still here today is this man right here who's retiring today. And so his impact on me has been incredibly humbling throughout my career. To only know 15 months, to be invited here today through his persistence is something that just bewildered me, because I was so determined to do my 4 years, take my GI Bill, head on my way, and it started day one with his commitment to me personally. When we're off duty, he's coming and helping me out in my dorm through everything that he's done with me professionally and mentored me throughout the years, well into the time that he's left right now. We stayed in close communication. So I wanted to close with Sergeant Dawley. You've had more impact on me personally and professionally throughout my career than anyone else. I went from a 4-year plan to get out airman to someone who is going to be a career airman, someone who loves this, someone who wants to put everything I have into this. And I thank you for your positive attitude, your high expectations, your clear standards, and your persistence to get me here today. Congratulations on your retirement, and thank you again for this humbling opportunity.
Thank you, Sergeant Martin. Life is a series of transitions. For those of us who have chosen the military as a career, we make our first major transition into the military from civilian life. Throughout the course of our careers, we transition from one path to another. Along with these paths We make many lifelong friends, and together we work to meet the challenges facing us in the service to our country. Eventually, however, we make another transition back into civilian life. This afternoon, it says morning, this afternoon, we are here to bid farewell to Master Sergeant Casey Dawley as he begins his major transition. He leaves not only AFTAC and the 709th Cyberspace Squadron, but also the Air Force after 20 years of outstanding and dedicated service to our country. And now, allow me to introduce our presiding officer, Major Gerard Fernandez.
All right, so I'm also truly humbled to be chosen, and I appreciate you letting me be the presiding officer. This is my first time being asked, and I couldn't imagine any better mess started for anybody to have this first opportunity to do that. Family, thank you for coming. Every great leader, people just look at a leader, whether it's an officer, a senior NCO, chief, and they expect them to have their act together, and their life is perfect, and they're there for everybody else. But behind that, there is the support back at home in family that they fall back on tough days, so that they can come back the next day with that positive attitude. So thank you for that. Thank you for the 20 years, for whatever years you were a part of that, and sacrificing that so the Air Force can have an amazing leader. So successful leaders, they have a firm foundation. That's something that, or whether you're an airman or a civilian. And throughout your life, that foundation is built by folks you know, mentors, Nana Bling, Mama Donna, wives, sisters, brothers, maybe some mentors, and you can probably start thinking of a few. But that is what we leave behind, and that's the foundation that you can build on. So I always try to give a little nugget of advice, because we have a range of people that show up to things like this. If you're a young person starting with life, with Air Force, your life is not cookie cutter. Nobody's is. From personal experience, Casey, yours, probably maybe not. But you don't have a cookie cutter of people and support building that foundation. But focus on those positive people in your life. And what did they leave behind you? Did they leave positive attitude? Did they leave persistence? Right? And grasp those, internalize them, and let that be your foundation. You may have not had a traditional family and traditional life growing up, but focus on the folks that came through your pathway. So with that little bit of advice, I want to hit up on your 20 years and just the short time you had at AFTAC, which probably flew by for you, the foundation that you've left behind. So you've gotten awards, you've gotten evals, you've done all these things, you fixed stuff for the Air Force, but what foundation did you leave behind? So I asked your peers, give me some words that describe Casey. So that's pretty risky, right? No. Your team appreciates you and loves you. And some words that came back, other than energetic, different. You're a problem solver. Tenacious, loyal, passionate, positive. So you can take all these words and just hone them in. This is the foundation you've left the Air Force and the impact that you've made on folks. So a few words that I think of are fun, sacrificial. Every time I heard your name, you were stepping out, you were picking someone up, you were helping the team solve a tough problem. Honor. I think that runs in your blood. And the last one, patriotic. And And we conversed about that a little bit. That's one of the first things that I think of Casey is patriotic. And you go to ALS, you go to NCO Academy, you kind of get re-blued. The Air Force has that re-blue type word they use. This guy never has to be re-blued. He's patriotic. Air Force runs in him every day. So thank you, and it's a tough transition, but you've ran a great race and you've left a firm foundation. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of Meritorious Service. Attention to orders. This is to certify the Meritorious Service Medal, first Oak Leaf cluster to Master Sergeant Casey Dawley for Meritorious Service, 27 June 2017 to 30 June 2019. Master Sergeant Casey M. Dawley distinguished himself in performance of outstanding service to the United States as a non-commissioned officer in charge of business solutions, 709th Cyberspace Squadron, 709th Support Group, Air Force Technical Application Center, Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. During this time, Sergeant Dawley led a 10-member web applications development team and oversaw the design, build, test, and development of 15 essential mission applications, 750 SharePoint sites, and 300 public web pages critical to sharing nuclear detection collections, to include the data and other time-sensitive information the United States government and international organizations, to include the Wing's timely reporting of internationally scrutinized 2017 North Korea declared nuclear test event to the President of the United States. Additionally, he was the creative force behind an automated messaging web service providing accurate nuclear event data delivery to key agencies and leaders at the Wing's new $3 million contingency operations location, a key step in achieving an initial operating capability declaration 2 years ahead of schedule. Finally, Sergeant Dawley's superior performance and ceaseless efforts were critical to his selection as the Wing's 2018 Cyberspace Information Dominance Senior Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Dawley culminate a distinguished career in the service of his account and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Major Gerard Fernandez will now retire Master Sergeant Casey Dawley from active duty.
Publish the orders.
Attention to orders. Special Order Number AC 013251, Department of the Air Force, Washington, D.C. Master Sergeant Casey Dawley, effective 01 July 2019, you are relieved from active duty. Organization and station of assignment, retired effectively 01 July 2019, per AFI 363203, in the grade of Master Sergeant after 20 years, 2 months, and 17 days of service to the country. Proceed to your home of selection by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. seated. Major Fernandez will now present the Certificate of Retirement, which reads, Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Master Sergeant Casey M. Dawley, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of July 2019, signed General L. Goldfein, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. Now, Master Sergeant Dawley will receive a certificate of appreciation from President Donald Trump. Now, Master Sergeant Dawley will receive a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant Khalif O. Wright. Major Fernandez will now present Mrs. Dawley, with a certificate of appreciation from the Air Force. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Air Force. In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Mrs. Sonia Dawley for the commitment and numerous contributions that you've made, positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for your support, which gave strength and purpose to the spouse service. Given this day, first day of July 2019, signed General David L. Goldfein, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. Major Fernandez will now present Mrs. Dawley with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant Khalif O. Wright. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. On behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force presents this certificate of appreciation to Mrs. Sonia Dawley. I join your spouse, family, and friends in thanking of you and numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in your support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service in the defense of our nation. Signed, Chief Master Sergeant Khalif O. Wright, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Additionally, Master Sergeant Dawley is presented with a letter of appreciation from President Donald Trump as well as the AFTAC commander. All letters of appreciation and certificates for Master Sergeant Dawley and his family will be on display. Please take a moment to stop by the certificate table after the ceremony to review these special letters, thanking them for their service. The Air Force Technical Application Center also wishes to present Master Sergeant Dawley with what is known as the American military's most honored and cherished possession, the United States National Ensign. The U.S. flag, which we honor and serve under, is the true emblem of the American courage and sacrifice. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Today's flag folding ceremony will be performed by Master Sergeant Casey Dawley and Staff Sergeant William Martin. At this time, we would like to invite Miss Ruby forward.
So the WebDev team was lucky enough to get Sergeant Dawley for the last 2 years of his career. He's just been an amazing asset to our team. We've absolutely loved getting to have him as a part of the web development shop. We're going to miss you greatly. I just couldn't say enough. The way you care about people, obviously, that has followed you your whole career. It's just amazing. And technically, his skills, honestly, he came into an AvTech reorg, a SharePoint migration that honestly I did not think could be done. And in fact, he wasn't here But beyond his technical skills, his people skills, and the way he cares about people, the way he's mentored so many of the airmen, and in fact, in our shop, I know two that probably wouldn't be where they are today. So, from the Web Dev shop, because we want to keep that competitive spirit that we know you and Sonia have, Sergeant Dawley told us that he did not want something he couldn't use. We figured we would give you the challenge, get your golf skills back up.
And next up, Nikki Sarsfield. Come on down.
Hello. I'm Nikki. I'm Casey's sister, and I don't know why, but I felt like I really wanted to say something today. So I started Googling like retirement quotes for military and all that fun stuff. But what I came up with is actually just something really short from me to him. 20 years ago, I was 12 years old. I went on a 32-hour road trip to Texas to see my big brother graduate from basic training. At that time, I did not know what that really meant. But over the years, I have understood more and more what all of this is and has been. And every time I told people about my brother in the Air Force, there's just this feeling of pride that filled me. Now, 20 years later, here I am, and I'm just bursting with that pride. I just, so much. Some might think I'm glad I'm here, of all the places I could be right now, but for me, there is no place else I could be right now. Here's my quote. Charles Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and become more, you're a leader." And I thought, oh, you do Casey. But you are a leader. And that's everybody's been saying, and every time we talk, it just, everything, to me, to Avery, to Sonia, you are a leader. I'm so glad I have a great big brother like you to look up to, and we're so proud. Thank you for your service.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honor to present Master Sergeant Casey Dawley, United States Air Force, retired.
So first of all, I'd like to start with some thank yous. I'll give you a hug. All right, so first I'm going to start with some thank yous. Thank you, Major Fernandez, for doing this. It's such a pleasure to have you out here. Thank you for the kind words that you said. This is obviously a very momentous occasion in my life. I did not see it coming for another decade, but things happen. And so I've decided that this is the time to get you. So not skipping you, but getting in there. Thank you so much for coming out. Welcome to the group. It's a great group to be in, and it's coming awesome. You got Sergeant Nolan over here is the acting first sergeant. Sergeant Giro is the actual first sergeant. Those guys are a couple stand-up guys. I'd like to thank my other senior NCOs that are out here, other retirees that are out here, and the team that helped set this up. So Sergeant Guinness, thank you so much for your support in setting this up. And Sergeant Box, and Alderman, Luke, great. Sergeant Soros, taking pictures, thank you over there. I'd like to thank my team for showing up, and everybody else in Squadron that's shown up. Thank you guys. You guys have been awesome for a while. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so first thing is thank you. Let's see. I will also get to my family in a minute. So now, since it's 2019, I'm going to do my notes on my cellular telephone. So if you work at Avtech, and I don't know what this is anymore, it's something you can use in the real world. It's going to go here, click on this little button here, it's going to come down with some notes, it says thank yous. All right, Amy, thank you so much for coming down. Ryan, so his name is William, and he goes by Ryan. So I'm gonna call him Ryan, even though everybody else calls him William. So I met Ryan a long time ago, and he was dating someone that had just finished high school, this Amy Tran person and stuff. So he was dating this person, and now they are married, and she was able to make the trip, and I finally met her, and it's huge to me, and here's some things I'm going to talk about. Kind of important person in my life. All right, let's see my tea. I said thank you. Squatter, and I said thank you. All right, now I'm going to go into my family. So family, my mom's sitting right here. Thank you for being a sounding board for me for 20 years. We started off a little rough when I came in the military. We had some bumps in the road pre-military, but we have forged a giant bond. If you want to see a mama's boy, you can take a picture. I'm right here. When I joined the military, I barely wanted to talk to her at all, but now I am a complete mama's boy. That's the technical term. It's okay. It's a good thing. All right. Next, we're going to say my baby sister. So I was going to say something about her 12 years ago. Part of my origin story to get to. How she came and saw, but she already spoiled that part. So she came to my basic training. Thank you for being there. Growing up with a woman that you met, mother, the wife, and everything. Thank you, Rich, for being the best brother in the world. I've always wanted a great brother, and thank you. And my birthday buddy, thank you. And Nana Bling, so Sonia's grandma, and Nana Bling, Sister Avery over there. He absolutely loves her. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad we got to spend 2 years with you. Next, I'm going to talk about my wife, who is back there with my child who wants to do everything. I'm going to start here. Over the past couple years, I got this assignment, and Avery was very young. He started to show some developmental issues, and that kind of pulled me away from work more than I was used to being pulled away from work during my 20-year career. So it was very interesting to change my focus from being 100%, the whole 110%, which is the dumbest saying ever, being into work and saying, I have something else that's pulling my focus away. So at that time, I kind of made some decisions. I decided that some of the things I used to do that would affect the entire wing or squadron or base and get out there in the community, I had to dial that back. So my time here, I spent a lot of time focused on my team and on the mission that we particularly had. I heard that our flight chief was leaving, Sergeant York, and I heard there was talk and rumors that that position was going to open up. And I knew that that would pull my focus away from where I had just diverted it to my son. So I said, no, I don't want this. I'm going to push the button the first day it happens. Just please don't give me this. I have a focus that I need to focus on, and it was very weird because I've always been forward-reaching, forward-thinking. How can I help most possible people and be out there? So that's why I'm here today, is because I'm here for my son and my wife and my family, and I was planning kicking and screaming when the Air Force pulled me out. I made a decision a couple years ago not to study for senior, so I missed it by very small margins and just barely got away without senior. Don't recommend that. Test to make your ranks, make your ranks, make your ranks, take care of your family with that. Make your ranks. And so it's just a very important thing, make senior, please. So my attention here has been on my family and on my team. I think that I've spent a lot of time trying to build up my team, trying to make sure that each person, I have the most unique team I've ever seen in the world. We had, at one point, 10 unique personalities. Now, we have twins, and they are still polar opposites. Like, I think we have people that are like each other. Even with twins in my shop, still stuck with polar opposites on every person. I can't compare any of them to the other and say that they are alike in any way, shape, or form. It has been a wonderful adventure, and I would like to thank them for that. So thank you for the adventure you guys have given me, the challenges you've given me, and all of that. That's our yard. So thank you all for that. All right, so now I'm going to go and talk about my origin story. So I joined the Air Force at the ripe old age of 17 years old. It was 5 days after my 17th birthday that I signed my delayed enlistment paperwork. And I graduated high school a couple months later, early, and joined the Air Force. Because my grandma said, get a job or get getting out. So I didn't want to flip burgers and had no directions. So here I am 20 years later, still no direction, just in case anybody was curious. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But I did join the Air Force. I went to basic training. That was a little blip on the radar. Well, that part of the story they came visited. So fast forward from there. And eventually I made it to Herbert Field. So when I was at Herbert Field, there was actually what I would like to call a life-changing event that happened. So when I was there in March of 2001, there was a crash of a Sherpa. So it was a crash of an aircraft. We lost 27 people. And this has had an effect on my entire career. I was a meteorologist at the time. They flew into a thunderstorm, and many people were lost. And at this time, I'd like to take a moment of silence to work out my analogies so that everybody can bow your head. Thank you for that. Next. Green binder here. We all recognize these padded things. When I left my first duty assignment, Herbert Field, they gave me a thing called the Emerald Gecko Award. So we're just talking about how the beaches up there are much nicer. So I'm going to read you my going away gift from Herbert Field 18 years ago. All right, it is with great honor that we present A1C Casey Dawley with the 8th edition of the Emerald Gecko Awards. The Emerald Gecko Awards are named after the beautiful green Emerald Coast waters and a gecko. These awards we pass down to each individual as they pass through the hollow walls of Herbert Field Weather Station. Please accept these awards with honors as they are observations submitted by your friends and coworkers. An Emerald Gecko Award recipient will always be a member of the Herbert Field Weather Station Geckos. Without further ado, we present the awards. Number 1, screw eating healthy. All you need to survive is Mountain Dew and Doritos. I had a banana today. It was my first beer in a couple years, but I had one, so I am a new person now. Number 2, hi, this is Casey. I can't come to the phone right now because me and Marlboro Man are playing EverQuest. Oh no, not another award. Now I get to get up in front of everybody and receive it. Crap. What weighs 90 pounds? Is invisible when turned sideways and smokes like a chimney? Answer, Casey. Hi, this is Casey. I can't come to the phone right now because me and Marlboro Man are playing EverQuest. Nope, that was in there twice. A lot of cigarettes, a lot of video games. Let's see. I'm going out to smoke an owl. I mean, take an owl. That's an observation when you go look at the sky and say, yeah, it's nice out here. Hey, it's Casey. I'll be there in a few minutes. My 3 alarm clocks when they go out. Now they got this thing to tell you sleep apnea, and now you need to go and get that figured out and realize why you have daytime fatigue for 20 years. So, get that checked out. Let's see. What the hell? Damn, sunlight. Number 9. Hi, this is Casey. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm interfacing my computer. It now controls my bodily functions. I can now download a picture of Doritos to get my fix. And number 10. So-called Casey virus is spread worldwide. Now, when executed, randomly search the websites containing the word Mountain Dew and Doritos, computer users are limited to browsing all the Mountain Dew and Dorito websites. To counteract the virus, users must turn off their computers and let it sit for a while. So, I'm a little different now. I want to be playing video games all the time. I've told Sergeant Euchre, he's about to start a vanilla WoW server, that I would love to play World of Warcraft. But that would take away from my kid. I'd get divorced, and I've already had one of those. Don't want to play. That's no fun. Like, as soon as I start playing World of Warcraft, I just log on, she takes the paper, she probably has them ready for that. But I'm very much the same person as I was 18 years ago. But the things that have changed are my ability to impact people. Back then, I was impacted by people. I had decent supervisors that have gone on to make chief. I've had phenomenal supervisors who have retired as master sergeant. I've had just the whole spectrum of leaders, good and bad. And I've learned a lot of lessons from them. When I was stationed at Wright-Patterson, I was there for 7 years, 8 months, and 12 days, working for the Air Force Institute of Technology. I had the opportunity to supervise the knowledge operators. I love my knowledge operators. They're out there. So I had the opportunity to supervise some of them. You'll be getting one of them, Fred Ackerman, too. Great guy, getting right. And then I got an Airman Basic. I hadn't seen an Airman Basic since I was an Airman Basic. So this is 2012, so it's 13 years after I've been in. So 13 years after seeing an Airman Basic, I do show up to the dorm room. We have it ready. I have one of my fellow NCOs to take over him for the first 6 weeks to make sure that When people get tainted because they're not given good expectations, they're not set forward to go on their goals. I've never felt a moment prouder in my life after I had PCS than when Sergeant Martin, Airman Martin at the time, reached out to me and said, I made below the zone. Because I molded people who had other people mold them, so you try to sway, they already have a direction. But for him, he was, I'm doing 4 years and getting out. You hear that from so many people, what do they do? But he just told me a couple weeks ago that he's re-enlisting again. I was floored. I was like, this is I got my Mary Kerr, I had him, probably some good stuff with you guys. That's one of the happiest times that I've ever had. Like hearing that he was staying in, and not because I think that everybody needs to stay in. It has nothing to do with staying in the Air Force. It's just that I think that the Air Force needs him. He's a leader. He's been a leader since he was an airman. And I thank you for your leadership from the time that we started moving forward with everything. He's taught more people to write than probably Chief has. No offense, Chief. So he's taught people how to write bullets. He's taught people how to do color guard, honor guard stuff out before he ever did this, when he was still two-striper and everything. He took over a color guard. He's done things in my career, or his short career, before I even left AFID, that took me like 8 to 10 years to culminate into everything. And he doesn't do it because he wants reward, right as a war package and pet program of the year for stuff. He doesn't want it because he wants that piece of paper or that eagle or anything. He does it because he helps you, he helps me, he helps everybody around him. And that's my biggest legacy is I'm trying to help those around me, and I want to leave something behind. And the thing that I've left behind is, sorry, Mark. I apologize. Phenomenal NCO, and I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I'd like to thank Sergeant Martin for everything he's done for the Air Force. I'd like to thank all my senior NCOs for the direction that we've been driving AFTAC and our squadron and the group. From the time I got here until now, right today, it's because of us. Thank you guys very much for the brotherhood that we've gotten over the past bit of time. And yes, thank you all for the newer ones. Thank you all for coming. Here's my son walking, by the way. Round of applause, everybody.
The Air Force Technical Application Center extends their best wishes to Master Sergeant Dawley and his family and wishes them success in their future endeavors. We express our thanks for having this opportunity to recognize them. You are all invited to view the certificates and presentation and congratulate the family. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Master Sergeant Dawley leads us in his last active duty singing of the Air Force song, followed by the departure of the official party, friends, and family.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder, and boys, give it the gun, give it the gun. Down we dive, starting our flames from under, off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, or go down in flames. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
This concludes today's ceremony. Thank you all for coming.
There is money on the bar downstairs.